And we're going to be monitoring the chat for you. So
Okay.
Adrienne, Shamira, and I are here to help with that. And so let's get started.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for having me today. I apologize for being a couple minutes late. That's not so good in your career. I'll tell you what happened. I was looking for the link, Melissa, and we email a lot back and forth. So, I searched Melissa Blackson emails. I'm like, that one doesn't have the link, that one doesn't. So it's more my lack of tech savviness, which I'm sure all of you, since you are much younger and of the tech age, have way ahead of me. So I'm really happy to be here, like I said, to talk to you today about marketing. But I also wanted to talk to you about everything that's sort of the career fields that go along with marketing, which are communications and public relations. It's all, they're different things associated with each one, but they relate to each other and they feed off of each other. So the first question I wanted to ask to start off with is, what is marketing? Who knows what marketing is and wants to share their thoughts on that? And I know it's a little early in the presentation, so you might not quite be ready to talk yet, but does anybody have any ideas what marketing is?
Marketing is like kind of like you put your product out there in a way that people would want to buy it.
That's great. That was Kayla?
Yes.
I just see a ceiling. So I don't see your face, but I do see, oh, there you are, Kayla. Hi. That's great. That's excellent. And then I see promoting a product or service in the chat. Yep, absolutely. Those are great. What about communications? How is communications different from marketing for a particular organization, or in my case, a nonprofit, since I work for JFCS? Advertising. All right. Yeah, advertising definitely goes along with marketing for sure. Any ideas on how communications might be a little bit different? All right. Well, we'll get to that. What about public relations, PR? I'm sure you guys have all heard of PR or the spin, or, what PR can do for your company. Good PR, bad PR. Any ideas about PR? All right, I am going to.
Guys, okay, someone said, no, that's, is that PR? Oh, I already saw that. So I need you to turn your cameras on. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have to say that at this point, but I need you to turn your cameras on. I need you to participate. For those who have participated, I'm taking down names so I can give you additional bonus gift cards, because I appreciate you. Everybody's tired, but you're pushing through, so I appreciate that. Everyone, please turn on your cameras and please participate. Thank you.
Thanks. I feel bad. I don't want to pressure anyone. Look, I get it. I really do get it. I'm tired too, but I'm kind of excited to talk about this because it's what I love. And we're going to get into why it's something that anyone can do a little bit later. That's like kind of the big reveal. But for now, we'll talk about explanations and things like that. So marketing, of course. Kayla said it so well that marketing really is, putting your product out there. Marketing is kind of sales. It's building up your audience to increase quote unquote sales, which at a nonprofit like JFCS is getting a larger audience for your programs, getting more donors who want to support the work and give money, because you guys probably know this already. JFCS is not JFCS, and we don't have summer work readiness, helping hands. We don't have I also run a program called, oh, Melissa, do you want me to admit Steve and Yost into the, yeah, since I'm a co-host now, so I get to do that. Anyway, so it's really, building up that audience to get the things that you need to. So if you're in marketing for Nike, obviously you want to sell more sneakers, right? But if you're in marketing for JFCS, you want eyes on your programs. You want students in the Helping Hands program, summer work readiness. You want people to attend different programs. You want donors to get connected to the work that you do so that they support you with their dollars. So that's how marketing sort of functions at a nonprofit. Also with volunteers, you know, getting volunteers who want to give their time, and because volunteerism is a huge part of what we do here at AFCS. So communications is a little bit different because communications is really the message. You know, earlier somebody commented about advertising, and advertising totally is tied in with marketing. Absolutely. Sometimes you'll see jobs out there that are, you know, marketing advertising coordinator, and they really go together because advertising is a function of marketing. It's like, hey, we want people to buy these sneakers, so we're going to put an ad out there for these sneakers, and we're going to have Trae Young in the ad because people really like Trae Young. I used to like Trae Young until, you know, this year. But, you know, there you go. So advertising is a part of that. So communications is more the message of your company and your organization, who you are. What do you believe? What do you stand for? You know, that's the communications. So sometimes, especially at larger companies or larger nonprofits, you have the person doing that in two different roles. But a lot of times at a smaller company or a smaller nonprofit, the person in this role takes on marketing and communications, and that's what I do. So think about it. You know, what is JFCS? What does JFCS want to show the world about ourselves? Who are we? What do we believe in? What are our values? That's what communications is all about. So you'll write a press release in communications, or you'll be, you know, your goal is to raise awareness of the beliefs and the core values of the organization. But it's tied into marketing because it's the same thing that Kayla was saying, where you want to sell your product, you want to sell who you are. You want to get the message out there of who you are, what you believe in, what you stand for. And then the last one, PR. Public relations, that's all about the press. So that's working with different outlets to hopefully get positive media coverage of what you're doing. You know that phrase, has anybody ever heard that phrase, any PR is good PR? Well, it's an old phrase where even if somebody would write something bad about you, people would say, it doesn't matter that it's bad because at least, yeah. So Stephanie, I see that Stephanie M says, yeah. So yeah. It would be like, look, it doesn't matter what they write about you. If they're writing about you, that's what you want. That's true for certain things. I mean, it might be true for some artists. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you're much more familiar with this guy than I am because, again, I'm an old, but is it DaBaby? Is that his name? DaBaby? Yeah, DaBaby is in the news because he said some kind of obnoxious things. And you know, for some people, and maybe some of his people, they think that's cool because he's in the news. It doesn't matter what he said. But other people on his team are probably like, no, because this paints him kind of as a jerk. So, you know, and he's losing gigs. So you have to look at that. And we'll talk a little bit about crisis communications a little bit later. So PR, yeah, it's an article in the Inquirer or an interview on a radio show or a post in a popular blog. PR really serves the marketing and communications goals of a company because, again, it gets the organization noticed, brings that awareness that then again brings that audience. So they all really feed into each other. They're sort of, you know, one beast with like 3 different arms. It's a weird analogy, I know. Sorry. I think we were watching horror movie trailers yesterday, so maybe that's where that is coming from. So social media is similar to PR in that way, where, you know, social media drives the marketing and drives the communications, except with PR, you can do the interview and you can talk to the press person and everything, but they're in control. It's their article, it's their piece that they're writing. Social media, and I think you guys have maybe had a social media speaker before. I don't know, Melissa, if Rebecca has spoken yet. I think she did in July. But you dictate the message in social media. So again, that's how you communicate. It's how you show people what you believe in. It's how you bring audiences to you. So social media is sort of tied up in both. So it can get a little confusing. It's marketing, it's communications, it's public relations. They're all different, but they're all feeding into each other. And the goals are really to raise awareness, to sell your product, like Kayla said, to get eyes on your programs, all of that. The best thing about this job and these jobs are you basically, in these roles, get to tell the world why something is so great. So it's pretty key to believe in it. I've had a lot of jobs in marketing, communications, PR. It's my whole background. And I have to admit, there have definitely been some where I didn't fully believe in what I was trying to get across. And I have to tell you, it's much harder work. It's much harder work when you don't like it or you don't believe in it, or maybe it's an artist on a record label who isn't that nice. You've met this person 2 or 3 times and they don't acknowledge you because you're an assistant, but you're putting together, you know, the copywriting on the package that's going out to the press. And you just have to be like, hey, remember that one time that that person maybe smiled, and you try to just think positively, because it is your job to get it out there and get eyes on it and raise awareness and get those people buying that record and supporting that artist, or again, at JFCS, coming to the programs. I don't really have any kind of issue with it here because I believe in this agency so much. And I have believed when I moved from entertainment into nonprofit, and I'll tell you a little bit about my background in a bit, I really upped that connection factor to what I was doing because it was something I really believed in. And again, that's the best thing about this job. You get to shout from the rooftops about the thing you really believe in, about the thing that you love or that you like a lot, that you want other people to believe in too. So that's why I absolutely love my job. So what do you think are some of the qualities that it takes to work in these industries? Skills, qualities, what kind of person do you think you need to be? What kind of, you know, experience maybe? What kind of skills do you think you might need to have to work in marketing, communications, or PR? And I'm actually not gonna, I'm gonna kind of be jerky about this, and I'm not gonna go on because I know that you know. Here we go. Thank you. Knowledge about media. That's great. Knowledge about media, how it works, you know, what are the different media you want to be exposed to? That is such a great answer, particularly because the media landscape changes. It changes all the time. You know, when I started out, I was 22 and I worked for a record company in New York called EMI Records, and everything was different. Social media did not exist. And yes, again, I'm aging myself, but it's fascinating to think about that. Social media didn't exist. The internet barely existed, and everything was a little bit different. There was a lot of whining and dining, a lot of parties, a lot of personal connection, which I still believe is really crucial, but it doesn't have to be on the level that it was before. So that was a fantastic answer. Knowledge of the media and the different media landscape and who different reporters are and journalists and what they care about. It's a lot of research. And then there's another answer here, good communication skills. That is probably the most important thing you need to be in this world. So that is a fantastic answer. Both of these answers are right on the money. You need to be a good communicator. You need to be able to speak with passion about what you believe in, and maybe sometimes, especially when you're starting out, what maybe you don't believe in, but you know, it's a little fake it till you make it. And you always look for the good in everything, like I was saying before. You need to be someone who is engaging, someone who can build relationships with people and get to know people. So in addition to being a really good talker, you have to be a good listener. You have to figure out who is this person and what do they want and how can I give it to them? How can I interest them in what I have here? What connects what I'm trying to talk to them about to their lives? You know, so you have to learn people's stories, and you have to be someone who's interested in other people, you know, someone who loves to hear their stories, who would, you know, want to know where they went to school and about their family and what they care about and what music they listen to and what films they like and, you know, what they're all about as a person, what they care about. It's that building of relationships. And I see strategizing, exactly, strategizing. You know, one of the things I do here at JFCS is I meet with different program directors and managers about their programs that they're doing. And I ask them, who is your ideal audience? Who do you want to come to this program? Who do you want to appeal to? Who do you want to talk to? Who do you want to know about the work that you're doing? And then you come up with a strategic plan to reach those people. It could be grassroots marketing, and I'll show you something a little bit later, some examples. Where, you know, you do some research on, say we have a parenting program, and we have been talking about this, you know, where are young parents? Where are they? Where are parents hanging out? Pediatricians' offices? That's one. Maybe mom and me classes. You know, anywhere, like when I had my babies, I lived in Brooklyn, and I went to the Y all the time and did the mom classes at the Y. So maybe the Y could be a good partner in marketing to the parents that go there. Daycare centers, for sure, daycare centers. Maybe you can create a flyer. I used to work for a nonprofit called Mighty Writers, and we had a Mighty Toddlers program. And we wanted parents to know that this was a free program that they could bring their little ones to start reading early in their lives, you know, and learn about literacy and feel comfortable around books and stories and telling stories, because telling stories leads to writing and all that. So I have to reach these parents. So I started talking to places where they had, you know, the mom and dad and baby classes, where they, at pediatricians' offices, like I said, they have listservs for new moms, community organizations that serve new moms. So, you know, you think about that strategy is such a key important part. And that was a great answer. So those are really the key skills. And it's so much more about who you are as a person, really. If you're someone who, like I said, really likes to meet new people and find out their stories and share your stories, it's relationship building. You know, I have a relationship with someone PS3 who I can call and I can tell her when there are things going on at our organization that are newsworthy and media worthy, some, you know, special project or special event we're doing. And because I've built up that relationship with her, she trusts me. She knows that I'm not just trying to pitch her on something, you know, to get coverage that's not something that her viewers would be interested in. So it's that kind of thing. I think qualities as a person, like those are the skills, you know, that we all talked about, strategizing and being a good communicator, you know, all of those things that we just talked about, but the type and knowledge about media, of course, but the type of person you are, someone who really is outgoing, someone who's enthusiastic and passionate. It might not be the best career for someone who's shy, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with being shy. I have a ton of shy people that live in this house with me. I'm kind of the loud one that talks all the time and wants to, you know, meet new people and tells all these stories and everything. But it just might not be the best career for somebody who is someone who more likes to hang back and observe. However, that person maybe is a great writer and could work at an agency, writing up the press releases or writing up media alerts or media pitches, things like that, or even, you know, different communications material, web content. So there's room for everyone really in this field. But someone who is more shy might want to be a little bit more behind the scenes, getting other aspects of it done, like the writing aspect. When you're at a small company, you have to be one person who sort of does everything. There's also room for designers. We design flyers, we design different materials, sometimes work with outside designers, but a lot of times people working in marketing and PR and communications are designing in-house. And there's like in-house production studios or in-house graphic designers. So that's it. You also should be analytical, actually. I almost forgot that, because you want to look for that right angle that's going to appeal to someone. You know, what's the angle to sell this person on this idea, or get this person to come to this program, or get this donor to donate to something that means so much to so many people? You know, where is the pitch? Have you heard the expression, the pitch, before? So, you know, we're pitching to people and, you know, trying to get them interested in what we're doing. Yes. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you so much. Do you pronounce your name AC? AC? Am I in there a little bit? Okay. So, yeah, so that's it. You know, you're pitching to people. So again, really helps to believe in the thing that you are pitching. So The reason, again, that I think this is such a great career option for so many people is that you can do it in almost any field. So yes, there's a field of marketing, communications, PR, but you can do marketing, communications, PR in any field, anything. So like I said, right now, I am in nonprofit, but I used to be in entertainment. That's how I started off in the music business. Then I went into digital media, so .coms, internet companies. I know that, you know, the name changes as things become more modern, but it was digital media back then. And now in nonprofit. So it really can be absolutely anything, you know, that you can go into. First, let's start with nonprofit and how it fits in here. So I wanted to show you an example of sort of a targeted marketing and strategizing that I have done. And I know that one of you pointed out the strategizing, which is so important. So I'm going to see if I can share my screen. Yes. Okay. And I'm just going to show you this list here. So you guys can see this. This is a list of contacts for programs that we were doing on helping teens in stress. So one of the ideas we had after strategizing with the leaders of the program was, let's reach out to students who are in either undergrad or graduate psychology, counseling, school counseling, psychiatry programs. So I did some research and looked up, you know, all of these local universities programs, and then who was the person who supervised the program. So we have Temple programs here for counseling psychology and school psychology, Villanova, Arcadia, Lehigh, Kutztown, Rosemont. So this was not an in-person program, but we still wanted to keep it somewhat local. So I just cast out a wide net to universities that had these programs. Figured out, you know, through some research, looking up different pages on their sites, et cetera, looking up LinkedIn accounts, all of that, to figure out who really would be the best person to reach out to about this. Keep their contact sheet of a phone number, the website, the email, and, you know, other aspects of that. And then I sent them, you know, an email talking about different, the program that we had coming up, asking them about it. You know, if they had students that were interested, could they please forward this information to them? And I actually got a lot of great feedback from some of these department heads saying, this is excellent. These are great programs for my students to experience. So that's always really affirming, because you know you were on the right track when you get some positive feedback and people say, oh yeah, that's right. This is okay. This is a great thing for my students to be a part of and could help with their learning experience at the university. So an example, I kept open also an example of one of the emails that I sent. And let me see if I can share my screen. The way our share screens work here, sometimes like you can't go from one screen to the next, you have to stop and then start again. So I'm going to see if it'll work this time. So here we go. So this is the email that I sent. I just wrote, you know, dear so-and-so, I want to let you know about this year's JFCS Keen lecture. So this is a different program, but to the same list, featuring the amazing Dr. Kim Ginsburg and Dr. Marion Brooks. They're going to discuss strength-based trauma-sensitive care, blah, blah, blah. I know some of your students might be interested in attending. This is the cost. Please feel free to spread the word if you think they're interested. Thanks and take care. And then, you know, we embed the information in the email, because anytime you ask someone to open a flyer in an email, a lot of people get nervous that it's a virus. People just also can't be bothered. It's really good to just give them the information right there. So here's the information about the program, about the speakers, and there you go. And you send it out. And that's like an example of targeted grassroots marketing, really thinking about the program that you have, who the audience is, and getting it out there. And we also did social media posts about it, and lots of other little items, flyering, so on and so forth. So I wanted to show you another example of how I use marketing here at JFCS. we did a campaign for our last program year called The Story of JFCS, The Courage to Act, the Conviction to Respond. And it was all about how our clients are really the brave, amazing people who are part of our programs, or who reach out for help, or who learn and grow, you know, through exposure to different events or programs, et cetera, et cetera. So we did some videos of different clients, and I wanted to share one with you. I'm a little bit nervous that the volume might not work because I have heard that before, so we'll try. We'll try. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So let me see. Let me make sure that I have it ready. It's on YouTube. And let's see if I can make it work. So I am going to need someone to tell me if the volume is working or not working for you guys. So someone please do that for me. All right, here we go. This is a video about Helena. And I'm going to go to full screen and press play. Can you hear the volume? No volume. Why does that happen?
There's volume, but it's muffled.
Sorry, here I'm gonna pause for a second. What'd you say, Melissa?
You can hear it, but it's like all muffled and scratchy.
All
You
right.
want me to pull it up on mine?
Yeah, do you want to try?
Yeah,
Here.
hold on.
I'll send you the link. I'm so sorry, you guys. I know we've had issues with this before, and it's really a pain. But let's see if it works with yours, Melissa. I'm going to put it in the chat. And also, you know, everyone can also feel free to watch it on your own as well. But I wanted to show it to you because I wanted to give you an example of some of the work that we do. So, Melissa, do you want to try and we'll see if it works? Thank you. Thank you so much for trying.
I went through a lot during the war. As a little girl, I experienced terrible things, which I don't even want to talk about it. They damaged my health and my mind. I came here in March 1949. I didn't know anyone. I was very depressed and lonesome and scared. Where I lived in Strawberry Mansion, they had the Jewish family service right across the Fairmount Park. That summer, they sent me to camp for 2 weeks, and the Jewish family service paid for it. I met this friend, and she was from Germany, and she suffered a lot too, and we became friends even today. We're still friends, and that's a long time. I speak to Jessica, and she's wonderful. She will do anything for me, to listen to me, and she'll help me with a lot of things. Even now with the COVID-19, she's here for me all the time. I really appreciate what she's doing for me. Every month I get a newsletter, and it even has our birthdays. And even mine was last month. It was in there too. I loved to go to the Cafe Europa. It was like 500 people at one time, and they came from all different countries. And the people at Jewish Family Service welcomed us with both hands, and they made us feel so good, like we belonged there. And I started to open up more because of them, and that means a lot to me.
You're on mute, Mel.
See, sorry. You would think at this point, doing so many Zooms. Oh my gosh, thank you, AC. So, yes, so that video was part of our campaign. We had 5 different videos along with 5 themes, and the themes were meeting basic needs, community connection, that was aging with dignity, empowering children and teens, and mental health. And so, we spotlighted Helena, who is part of our Holocaust survivor program. And obviously, I'm sure you all feel the same. Her story is very compelling, and it's very beautiful and heart-wrenching at the same time. And so we created this video series that's part of this campaign so we could really get people to understand the work that we do through our clients, and specifically the bravery and amazingness of our clients. So that's, one example of the work I do in my job here. In addition to, that list of research and the email that I sent out. And I'm just going to show you a few more. So I'm going to share my screen. Oh, Melissa, I don't think I can share my screen anymore. Oh, yes, I can. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to show you a few more examples of some of the work that I'm responsible for here. And these are just, flyers and materials that we have created. So one example, sorry, for some reason, I can't show all windows. I have a lot of windows open, so this is going to take a minute. Okay, so I'm going to share this screen now. This is a flyer for our closet. I actually also run the Our Closet program here at JFCS, so I have 2 jobs. But marketing, this is what we do. So this is how we promote the fact that we have a free clothing pop-up shop. We have a really lovely picture of some of our shoppers who agreed to be photographed with our closet bags filled with their free high quality clothing, a little explanation of what our closet does, the JFCS brand colors, and then, hey, this is where our next pop-up shop is. Come, people are welcome. Of course, shoppers required to wear a mask, so all the important points are here on that flyer. So that's, one of the flyers that we've created as part of my duties here. I wanted to show you some other ones.
Just wanted to say that Our Closet is one of the groups we partnered with on Friday at the community day.
That's right, in your neighborhood, right? That's awesome. I hope you guys had a great day. I was hoping to be there, but I was on vacation, so I could not go. But I heard it was a fantastic day, and so that's one of the things that Our Closet does. So I'm trying to find a couple more. This one I really like, and I want to show this to you. This is materials for Our Closet's fundraising event. Again, this really sits with marketing beyond my program director duties. So we wanted to include this letter with all of our gift bags for this fundraising event. This event is responsible for probably 3/4 of Our Closet's budget. So it's really important. And we wanted to, put together a note to really thank people. So we thought, let's do it in handwriting. So these are the little decisions that actually, mean a lot in the end. If it was just typewritten, it wouldn't have felt so connected and warm. So, we wrote this, We used like a handwriting font, signed it, all of our first names from, you know, the people, our founder, Jill, and then this was our team at the time and still is, except for James. So, you know, then we had the sponsors on the backside so we could honor them again and just have this nice little letter. So that's an example of something, you know, that in marketing, you know, we would do. We would be creating these materials. And just to show you a couple more quick ones. This is a flyer for an event we have coming up that we're using now with the songwriter Benj Pasek. You will be found, a dialogue on mental health with Dear Evan Hansen co-creator Benj Pasek. So you can see we still use the branding of JFCS, the colors, a nice photo of smiling Benj, a little summary of what the event is in the purple area, his bio in the left, and then, you know, what this event is, when it is, how you can register, etc. So these are just materials that we create all the time. We are always creating materials and flyers constantly. And then I wanted to give you another example. This, I'm just going to hold up. This is an article. Let's see if I can do this. About a pop-up shop. So this is a real goal of PR, the PR aspect. We had an amazing reporter, Helen Ubinas from the Inquirer, come out to one of our pop-ups and write a story about our closet and what we do, along with some really beautiful pictures and with really just gorgeous lighting and everything. And we were, you know, profiled in the Inquirer. I mean, Inquirer is the major newspaper here. So this is what you work toward when you're working that PR angle of like getting that story out there and getting people to learn about you. It brings new volunteers, new donors. It even lets you reach new clients because people know people who need clothing and then they reach out to us and let us know and we help those people. So that's sort of how this works in the nonprofit world. As I alluded to earlier, I've also worked at other nonprofits and in other industries. So I just wanted to show you some of those materials. So I worked at Girl Scouts of Eastern PA and designed an infographic. So you guys know people have short attention spans, right? So show them graphics and stats. People really, really like that. So infographic on the front and information about programs on the back. Make it really visual and compelling. I did the same thing when I worked at Mighty Writers because it's a proven tactic, a great picture at the top and stats and information at the bottom. And then I also, when I worked in digital media, it's going to look like pieces of paper that I'm holding up, but this was an article in the Wall Street Journal on our company. It was Vault Inc. And from the moment I started working there, the bosses said, we want a piece in the Wall Street Journal. And, you know, that's not easy. And I said, okay, you know, I just started. Let me figure out the angle. Let me figure out the contacts. Let me do my research. And it took a really long time. It took a really long time of building up a relationship with a writer there and pitching various things, pitching the guys that were the founders, and not giving up, but also knowing when you're getting annoying and holding back a little and giving her some time. And then, you know, hey, I haven't talked to you in a long time. It's really difficult when your bosses want like the be all and end all, the article in the Wall Street Journal. So this means a lot to me because it actually happens. 8 times out of 10, it's not gonna happen. And you have to manage expectations and say, you know, to get an article in the Wall Street Journal, you need to have a story. What's our story here? And so on and so forth. So going back, you know, to sort of finish this up, yes, I work in nonprofit and I used to work in entertainment and I worked in digital media. You can do marketing, communications, and PR in any field, like I said before, in any field. So does anybody here like basketball? I'm a huge basketball fan. As I said before, I used to love Trae Young until he was our enemy. And I just can't get back to loving him. I don't know, I can't forgive. So if you like basketball, you could work in this industry. You could work for a team. You could work for the NBA. You could work for a college and do college athletics, the NCAA. You could work for TNT. You could work for ESPN. You could work for countless entities that focus on basketball and do marketing and communications and PR. Is anybody into tech? Anybody likes tech? I mean, anything. You could work for Comcast. You could work for Tesla. You could work for a startup who's just starting out, and you will get paid hardly anything, but you will be there from the ground up. And if that startup turns into a Facebook, you're set for life. So there you go. But you know, you can do work that really excites you in the tech field. Do you like fashion? Does anybody like fashion? I mean, I'm guessing people like fashion. So I'm going to go with that. Fashion. You can work for a clothing line. You can work for, oh my gosh, I was just going to say a clothing line that's so old. So let's not do that. You can work for, I don't know, does John Barbados still exist? I don't know, that guy, or Calvin Klein, or, I mean, you work for H&M. You could work for a department store like Neiman's or Nordstrom or Macy's. You can work for an online retailer. You could work for a showroom in New York. You know, all the fashion lines have showrooms where they show the designs that they're coming up with each season, and they invite stores to come in. You could do that. You could work for a buying agency. So there are so many aspects of so many industries that you could do this in. And that's what's so exciting about it. Politics, is anybody into politics? I mean, now is such an interesting time in politics. You could work for the government at every level. The other day I was on vacation on a road trip, and I was driving back through Pennsylvania, and I stopped at the state capitol because I needed some paperwork. And I walked around the state capitol building, and it was really inspirational. It's this beautiful old building, and you see all the offices of the PA state reps and state senators. And you could work for one of those people who believes in the things that you believe in and is trying to make change. You could work for a huge party, the Democratic Party, the Democratic National Committee. You could work for an organization like Color of Change, which is trying to get more politicians of color elected. You could work for an organization called She Should Run, which is trying to get more women elected. So I think you can see my point here is that you can take marketing, communications, and public relations skills, experience, interest, the qualities that you have as a person, and take them anywhere. Absolutely anywhere for something that you're interested in. So seriously, if you love turtles, you could work at a zoo and do marketing for the zoo's, you know, programs, a conservation agency, a wildlife protection agency, National Geographic. The reason why I'm trying to use examples from all over is to show you why I love what I do. You can do it anywhere. You can do it for anything. All businesses and organizations need people who will help them reach new audiences, need people who will help them put their messaging out there, help them try to get press coverage, or help them manage a crisis, which is a whole other area of this world. And that is when you try to prevent the fallout that occurs when someone gets caught doing something wrong. So I'll end on this. My crisis when I worked for a PR agency in New York was one of our artists who is Old Dirty Bastard from the Wu-Tang Clan, or Wu-Tang Clan, not the Wu. He crashed the stage at the Grammys. A lot of you guys know that Kanye West did it to Taylor Swift a few years ago. You were probably really young. Does anybody know that Kanye West interrupted Taylor Swift's award speech? Yes. Thank you. So he did, but a lot of people don't remember years before, Dirty, as I called him, as we all called him, did it. He interrupted a woman named Sean Colvin, who I think she won Best New Artist or something, even though she'd been an artist for years. And he gave a speech about Wu-Tang being for the children and about how, you know, he was really upset that the rap awards were not televised. And you know what? He had a point, but maybe that wasn't the best way to show it. So there was a lot of fallout. And because I was the writer at the agency I worked at, I wrote his press statement. So this is something that you could end up doing if you work in here, in marketing, PR, and communications. You might write a press statement for a famous celebrity. So this is what Dirty said. I'm sorry for interrupting Sean Colvin's speech. I know she has worked for a very long time to get the recognition she deserves. I hope she can forgive me. Other people deserve recognition too. like the rappers who were nominated but had their awards handed out during the pre-televised ceremony. Rap is the biggest kind of music out there now. It's what everyone listens to. Just look at the charts, but they still don't televise the best rap album award. It's insulting to be left out of the show like that. And although it didn't come out exactly like I wanted it to, I had something to say about that. So Dirty didn't write that, I wrote that, but I wrote it in Dirty's voice because I knew him. I knew him really well, and he was a friend of mine, and I miss him every day. And that was just one example, though, that, you know, when you work in this crazy industry, in this crazy field, you might be writing statements for people, either with them or from knowing them and putting it out there. It's a lot of responsibility, but it's also a lot of fun. And I really love what I do. And I especially love what I do here at JFCS. So if anybody has any questions, I would love to hear them. And I hope I didn't talk too long. I'm sorry. I think I went on a little bit.
No, you're fine. I know someone was saying that for PR, like what you did, they also do that for the White House. That was another example.
Oh, no, yeah, I was just saying that's when she talked about possible things that people do. It made me think of like how people write press for like presidents and other things like that.
Yep.
Exactly.
Thank you, Tagita.
That is such a good point, Tagita, because if you guys know the White House press secretary, her name's Jen Psaki. I think it's spelled Psaki. And, you know, she's the woman with like the red bob, and she comes out and oh my gosh, she's in charge of that room. I mean, it's amazing if you've ever seen her press conferences. And just think about all those reporters that are going from Trump to Biden and how different it is, and how like she needed to come in there with authority and show that it is not going to be the same. Oh no, Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House. She is actually a member of the House of Representatives, a member of Congress. But she is the Speaker for the entire House of Representatives because they have a Democratic majority. So Nancy's a politician, but again, a really great point, because she's in such a front-facing role as a politician, she needs to have these skills too. She totally needs to have them. But I would really recommend that you guys look up Jen Psaki, because she's fantastic at her job, and she is the person who tells all the reporters what's going on at the White House, what's going on with President Biden.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of our workshop. But one other thing I wanted to say is that even if you're not interested in a career in marketing, you also use marketing for yourself, because when you apply for a job, and we're going to talk a little bit about resume writing next week, that's a form of marketing. That's a form of marketing you, a form of getting people to see you on paper so that they can call you back in for an interview. So even if you're not thinking about going into marketing or communications for a career, there's still, these skills will be helpful to you in your personal life in terms of marketing yourself, or if you have a business idea and you want to market it, like we heard about a couple of weeks ago with social media marketing or other forms of marketing. So it's the type of career that the skills work in all different facets of your life, whether or not that's the way you generate income, or you use it as a way to promote something that you believe in or in yourself, which is probably one of the first things you should believe in. So we wanted to say,
I just want to say, Melissa, you are so right. It's so true. And I just want to give you some unsolicited advice, because I'm really good at that. The unsolicited part. When Melissa says that, you know, please listen and please be yourself. Like, you don't need to be anyone but yourself when you are going for a job. Like, you want to be the best version of yourself and enthusiastic and passionate, but don't hide who you are, because people want to know you. You know, you have so much to offer and so much to bring. So just being your authentic self and finding like the best way to be your authentic self is key. Sorry,